The Five Nights at Freddy's movie is now upon us, and if you're a fan of the FNAF games, you probably sprinted to the theater on opening weekend to see how all your old friends looked on the big screen, and the evil animatronics who occasionally haunt your dreams. Hopefully, you were able to spot some of the many Easter eggs that were delicately placed into the movie, and if you didn't, we've got a bunch to tell you about. So stick around for all the Five Nights at Freddy's Easter eggs that we've found so far. When it comes to the security office, the folks making the movie didn't want to get this one wrong. It seems obvious that a lot of care went into making it as close to the game as possible. Fans of the original game are particularly thrilled with how close it looks to the office in that one, including some recognizable features like the Fazbear poster that says "Celebrate." It also includes things like the striped cup, fast food wrapper, and more. Plus, even the security screens and the doors heading out of the office seem to match the first game's office perfectly. Though some fans were quick to note that the security briefing does happen in the film a little differently. Instead of getting a call like the game, he views it on a tape recording. And the footage from the security cams also changes up a bit, which some people have been calling a little bit of a mix from the first set of games. Players of the FNAF games know that Bonnie, the animatronic, is the only one who gets to go inside the janitor's room. The movie held on to this rule as we only see Bonnie in there. And of course, she made good use of her time in the janitor's room, though we don't want to give out any specifics just in case you don't want a plot spoiler here. The movie has an overt usage of drawings throughout, establishing that they're the primary way Abby and the ghost kids communicate. So that's not necessarily an Easter egg, but one particular drawing definitely counts. Early in the movie, Mike is at Abby's school, and you can see there is the list with spelling words on the chalkboard. You can spot Chick and Fox, which are references to two of the FNAF animatronic characters. Balloon Boy is a well-known antagonist to fans of the game, so they were excited to see him in a recurring bit in the movie, as well as in a post-credits scene. During the movie, Mike has a jump scare when he sees a statue. It's of, you guessed it, Balloon Boy. Obviously, showing up in this way is more of a tease than an actual plot point. That is, of course, until the post-credits scene. In it, we see the taxi driver, and there's another Easter egg about him, which we'll get to in a minute, waiting in his taxi. There's a knock on the window, and the driver tries to deny the ride. He says things like, "Not today, sorry," and "Read the sign." But his annoyance turns immediately to fear when he recognizes who has slid into the cab: Balloon Boy. Given the fact that Balloon Boy is a big baddie, beginning in the game Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it seems likely that this post-credits Easter egg is a nod to his potential increased involvement in any subsequent movies. We'll see. Now, like I mentioned before, the taxi driver himself was an Easter egg of a cameo. You might be thinking it was some famous actor who maybe you didn't recognize, but no, this cameo was of a different sort. YouTube influencer Corey X Kenshin has long been a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, and played a big role online in getting the game more and more popular. So much so that when it came time to make the movie, the producers wanted to make sure he got a part. So they cast him as the cab driver, and he did pretty well if you ask me. He got to be in a couple scenes, plus that post-credits scene with Balloon Boy. Not too shabby. And he's not the only YouTuber who got to be in the movie. There's an Employees of the Month sign on the wall of the pizzeria, and it's chock full of YouTubers who helped spread the word and make Five Nights at Freddy's a phenomenon in the gaming world. Up on that plaque are YouTubers like 8-Bit Ryan, Baz, Razbowski, Fusion Z Gamer, and Dawko. The animatronics are trying to make Abby one of them, essentially turning her into a girl clown. This animatronic is from the games and is called Circus Baby. In the game, it's also possessed by the soul of Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter. The mini Easter egg here is that Abby is not only sometimes a nickname for Elizabeth, but also an anagram for baby, so it might spell trouble for Elizabeth in the sequel. There's a scene when a couple characters, like Aunt Jane and Max, meet in a coffee shop. The name of the shop is Sparky's Coffee Shop. The great part of this particular Easter egg is that it's really for the hardcore fans, because there had been a long-standing rumor that in the OG game there was actually a sixth animatronic character whose name was Sparky. People even went so far as posting screenshots of what they thought was Sparky online. But it actually turned out not to be true. So the movie gave this whole episode a wink by naming the coffee shop after this non-existent Easter egg of a character. Oh, and in the coffee shop scene, their waitress is Ness, which could definitely be an Easter egg for the nickname of Vanessa, a character from several of the games. In the restaurant, there's a wall of drawings, one of which is a rainbow. This is a pretty overt nod to Chica's magic rainbow, who's the final boss in the FNAF World game. But the Chica's Easter eggs don't stop there. In the movie, Mike also works at an ice cream shop literally called Chica's Magic Rainbow. Throughout the movie, Mike constantly reads from a book about the theory of dreams. This has led some fans to wonder if it's a wink to the idea that the whole game and the world of the movie is one of his dreams. It certainly has a lot of elements of a dream/nightmare, if you ask me. Clearly, the folks who put this movie together didn't disappoint when it came to linking it to the games. And these Easter eggs are just a small sample. If you're anything like me, you're planning to watch it at least 10 more times to look for more Easter eggs. And if you find any, pop them in the comment section below.